It was a giant wave, 200 kilometres per hour, destroying everything in its path. The tsunami of 26th of December 2004 killed more than 230,000 people. And after the disaster, according to the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, 11 billion euros in aid flowed into NGO coffers. In Sri Lanka, the country worst affected after Indonesia, the tsunami also made more than 500,000 people homeless. The NGOs funded a widespread programme to rebuild villages like here at Yayawat, where Plan International has put up 200 houses 2 kilometres away from the beach. 30-year-old Tushari and her 2 children are some of those who've been rehoused. Her old house on the beach was razed to the ground.
We lost everything. My husband, who was a fisherman, was swept away by the wave and was injured. Now and again we go close to the sea, but it's only to spend a moment there. What's certain is I won't sleep another night there for anything in the world.
It's worth recalling the shock of the tsunami. This wave wasn't 50 centimetres but 20 times bigger, the height of those trees. 5 years ago, here at Hanbantota, 4,000 people were killed. As many houses were destroyed and hundreds of fishermen were lost. Tushari's young husband, called Asanka, was a fisherman before the tsunami hit. He lost 11 members of his family. He spent 2 months in a refugee camp with his son and his wife, who was expecting their second child. Today he drives a truck, but bitterly misses the time when he put out to sea.
I lost everything in the tsunami. Several of my crew were killed. I lost a boat and all the fishing equipment. Then I experienced unemployment. They suggested this truck driving job, but even now I'm not really earning. Compared to my fishing, my income has dropped 65%.
The tsunami swept away the boats and equipment of 3/4 of the Sri Lankan fishing community. A few kilometres from Yayawat, in the tiny community of Kudavela, Dayaratna and his colleagues refused to give up and are experiencing some success.
Since the tsunami, we're fishing much more. It's not just that there are more fish in the sea, it's because after the catastrophe, we were able to buy bigger boats, which means we can go further and stay out longer. Yes.
95% of fishermen went back to sea after the tsunami, thanks greatly to the NGOs, which injected funds through systems of microcredit. This small community bank, for example, which manages the Kudavela cooperative, has a budget of almost 50,000 euros a year.
Credit is granted to buy fishing equipment and a boat, but also to build or repair a house, or to hire a vehicle to transport fish.
Post-tsunami aid has been largely put into reconstruction. The NGO Plan International, which normally specialises in the adoption of children, has gone even further, securing an agreement with the authorities to ensure the safety of the women and children living in the new village of Yayawat.
To avoid any problems in Yayawat, we've set up a special police unit dedicated specifically to the prevention of violence against women and children. It's vital in a new environment like this to concentrate on prevention.
The morning routine at Ruhunu School near Yayawat consists of raising the flag and a session of meditation. The tsunami deprived 200,000 youngsters of their places in school. Here, Plan International has totally financed the building of a new school for 3,000 pupils, and it's become an icon throughout Sri Lanka.
There are very good science teachers here, and the laboratories are really well equipped. You don't get that elsewhere.
Academic standards are much higher here. Discipline is very strict, and that's a good thing because we'll soon be out in the real world.
Compared with my old school, I've got lots more new friends, and at last, in this new environment, I can begin to forget the nightmare I lived through with the tsunami.
And there are changes on the beach too. 3 out of 4 children couldn't swim when the tsunami struck. Since then, Nimal and his team have taught around 500.
Before the tsunami, people living by the beach didn't know how to swim and had no idea at all about first aid. We're teaching these youngsters all that, and I'm proud to say that recently we saved 2 Australian tourists from drowning.
The catastrophe left 40,000 widows and orphans in Sri Lanka. 5 years on, and the psychological scars are still there. Even so, all the people we met showed an exceptional, disarming optimism. It's important to note, too, the numerous psychological support programs, particularly for children, who've written about and drawn their tsunami experiences. Kumudu Vetasinghe is the director of one such support program.
In my view, the fear and trauma has pretty much totally disappeared and directly linked to our work on the ground. The orphans, for example, have virtually all been placed with close family. We haven't left them alone.
It's clear that Sri Lanka knew how to get back on its feet, but the task of reconstruction is vast. Re-establishing the tourism industry is one issue deemed vital. It was the 3rd biggest source of income in the 1970s. After the tsunami, and above all 37 years of civil war with Tamil separatists, today it's barely ticking over. Despite the positive hopes and dreams in parts of Sri Lanka, it's a different story in the east of the country. Hardest hit by the tsunami and for years inaccessible because of the war, the region has hardly benefited from humanitarian aid.